You think being a man means chasing approval, love, validation. But what if the most powerful thing a man can do is disappear, not in weakness, but in control? Today, we're diving into why masculine men don't chase. They vanish with purpose. In today's world, everyone's chasing something: relationships, success, recognition. But real strength isn't found in running after things. True masculinity is about knowing your worth without needing others to validate it. Masculine men understand that chasing only takes away from their power. They don't beg. They don't prove. They live by their own terms. The Stoic philosophy teaches us that what is outside our control shouldn't govern our peace. When you stop chasing, you stop giving away your energy. The more you chase, the less control you have. Real power is in stillness. When you choose to step away, you take back your power. So the next time you feel the urge to chase after something, remember this: the most masculine thing you can do is disappear, on your own terms, for your own peace. Chasing someone, whether it's a relationship, a business opportunity, or even a friendship, means you're placing your value in their hands. Every time you seek validation from someone else, you're giving up control of your emotional state. You become enslaved by their response. You're at their mercy. You may not realize it, but you're in an emotional prison of your own making. This is what we call emotional slavery. When you rely on someone else's attention or approval for your happiness, you're giving them the power to control your mood and your well-being. And when you chase, you're constantly worried about whether they'll notice you or reciprocate. You find yourself waiting for their response, checking your phone, thinking, "Am I good enough? Did I do enough?" And that constant cycle of uncertainty eats away at your peace of mind. But a Stoic man doesn't fall into this trap. He knows that his worth is not dependent on the approval of others. His peace is his responsibility. In Stoicism, we understand that there are two things in life: things we can control, things we can't, chasing after someone else's attention, approval, or affection. These are things outside our control. By chasing, you're surrendering your control. You're saying, "I'm not enough as I am." You're valuing someone else's opinion more than your own sense of self-worth. This leads to an unhealthy attachment to external validation. But here's the truth: external validation doesn't last. It's fleeting, temporary, and often out of your hands. When you live for someone else's approval, you're caught in a never-ending cycle. One minute they notice you, and you feel on top of the world. The next, they don't respond, and you feel worthless. This emotional roller coaster takes a toll on your mental and emotional well-being. It's exhausting. It makes you dependent. But a Stoic man, he isn't driven by the need to chase or please others. He understands that his value doesn't come from outside sources. It's already within him. He defines his worth. He doesn't need someone else's approval to feel complete. His peace isn't for sale. The Stoic philosophy teaches us that we must focus on what's within our control and let go of the rest. You cannot control how others respond to you. You cannot control their feelings or their actions. But what you can control is your own thoughts, your own behavior, and your own reactions. A Stoic man focuses on these, cultivating his character, his mind, and his purpose, without being consumed by external forces. When you stop chasing, you reclaim your autonomy. You're no longer a prisoner to someone else's actions. You're free to live on your own terms. Imagine living a life where you're not constantly seeking someone's approval, where your happiness doesn't depend on how quickly someone replies to your message or whether they notice you at all. This is what it means to live with control. It's a life where your emotional state isn't tied to external validation. It's a life where you define your own value. And this is the essence of Stoicism: taking responsibility for your own peace and recognizing that no one else can give you what you already have within yourself. Disappearing isn't about running away from life. It's about self-respect. A real man doesn't chase. He removes himself from situations that compromise his peace. When you disappear, you're not giving up. You're taking control. You're saying, "This situation doesn't align with my values, so I'm choosing to walk away." And that's power. Disappearing is a powerful act of self-preservation. It's not about abandoning responsibilities or relationships. It's about preserving your energy and aligning yourself with situations and people who respect your boundaries. When you stop chasing, you make space for what truly matters. You stop giving away your time and energy to things that drain you. You no longer tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or indifference. And you begin to demand the respect you deserve. Think about it. If someone shows you that they don't value your presence, why would you stick around hoping for their attention? A Stoic man recognizes that his time and energy are valuable. He doesn't waste either, not on people who don't appreciate him, nor on situations that don't serve his growth. Walking away from these things is not weakness, it's strength. It's a statement that your peace, your values, and your integrity come first. When you disappear, you're saying, I will not chase approval. I will not beg for attention. I will not sacrifice my well-being for anyone. It's not about being alone. It's about knowing your worth. You don't need to be surrounded by people who don't recognize your value. You don't need to be in places that don't support your growth. You choose to remove yourself from these situations, not out of defeat, but out of strength. Real masculinity is found in knowing when to walk away. Psychology shows that absence creates value. When you stop chasing, you stop feeding the power others have over you. You stop making your worth conditional on their response. And by doing this, you create space. Space where people start to realize your absence. That's where the magic happens. When you stop reaching out. When you stop chasing. You create a sense of scarcity. And we're all wired to crave what's scarce. People don't value what they can get any time from anyone. But when you withdraw, when you disappear, you become rare, and that rarity makes them notice you more. Let me show you how disappearing makes them notice. When you're always available, always around, it becomes easy for others to take you for granted. A real man doesn't chase. He removes himself from situations that compromise his peace. When you disappear, you're not giving up. You're taking control. You're saying, this situation doesn't align with my values, so I'm choosing to walk away. And that's power. Disappearing is a powerful act of self-preservation. It's not about abandoning responsibilities or relationships. It's about preserving your energy and aligning yourself with situations and people who respect your boundaries. When you stop chasing, you make space for what truly matters. You stop giving away your time and energy to things that drain you. You no longer tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or indifference. And you begin to demand the respect you deserve. Think about it. If someone shows you that they don't value your presence, why would you stick around hoping for their attention? A Stoic man recognizes that his time and energy are valuable. He doesn't waste either, not on people who don't appreciate him, nor on situations that don't serve his growth. Walking away from these things is not weakness, it's strength. It's a statement that your peace, your values, and your integrity come first. When you disappear, you're saying, I will not chase approval. I will not beg for attention. I will not sacrifice my well-being for anyone. It's not about being alone. It's about knowing your worth. You don't need to be surrounded by people who don't recognize your value. You don't need to be in places that don't support your growth. You choose to remove yourself from these situations, not out of defeat, but out of strength. Real masculinity is found in knowing when to walk away. Psychology shows that absence creates value. When you stop chasing, you stop feeding the power others have over you. You stop making your worth conditional on their response. And by doing this, you create space. Space where people start to realize your absence. That's where the magic happens. When you stop reaching out. When you stop chasing. You create a sense of scarcity. And we're all wired to crave what's scarce. People don't value what they can get any time from anyone. But when you withdraw, when you disappear, you become rare, and that rarity makes them notice you more. Let me show you how disappearing makes them notice. When you're always available, always around, it becomes easy for others to take you for granted. You're always chasing them, always giving attention, but they don't feel the need to chase you. The imbalance is created. But when you step back, when you create distance, their perception changes. You're no longer the person they can just call whenever they want. Now, you're someone they miss. And missing you triggers curiosity. It triggers desire. This principle is known as scarcity. The more scarce something is, the more valuable it becomes. People start to wonder, where did he go? Why hasn't he reached out? Your absence increases your perceived value. And that's powerful. You stop being just another option in their life and start becoming the one they wish they had more of. Absence creates curiosity. It creates desire. And when you stop chasing, you let others come to you. You no longer need to fight for their attention. They seek you out because they realize they might lose something valuable. And that shift, that moment they realize your value, is when you've truly mastered the art of disappearing. A masculine man doesn't need to announce his disappearance. He doesn't need to make a scene or demand attention. The true power lies in doing it quietly, calmly, with grace. The Stoic way is to disappear without fanfare, without apology. Disappearance. Let your actions speak for themselves. When you walk away from a situation, don't feel the need to explain yourself. Don't justify why you're stepping away. Don't offer excuses. There's no need. You are free to make decisions for your own peace, your own growth, and your own happiness. Those who truly respect you will understand your actions without needing a detailed explanation. And those who don't respect you? Well, that's part of the reason you need to disappear in the first place. Which brings us to the next principle. Don't wait for closure. Be your own closure. In life, many of us crave closure from others, whether it's the end of a relationship, a difficult situation, or a painful conflict. But a Stoic man understands that closure isn't something someone else gives you. It's something you give to yourself. You don't need to wait for someone to explain, to apologize, or to make things right. Your peace and emotional well-being are not dependent on them. They never were. Closure comes from within. It's the decision to say, this is no longer serving me, and I'm moving on. A Stoic man doesn't waste time waiting for an apology that may never come, or for clarity that might never arrive. He knows that waiting for closure from others ties his peace to their actions, and that's exactly what we seek to avoid. Instead, he creates his own closure by accepting the situation as it is, without judgment or regret. He moves forward not because the situation was resolved, but because he learned what he needed to, and he's ready to move on. To disappear like a Stoic is to practice detachment, not from life or people, but from the need for approval, for validation, and for external closure. It's understanding that peace comes from within, not from how others behave or what they do. By following these Stoic principles, don't announce it, don't explain it, don't wait for closure. You begin to embody true masculinity. You become self-sufficient, independent, resilient. You stand firm in your values and beliefs without being swayed by external forces. So next time you feel the need to chase, remember, real strength lies in knowing when to step back. When you stop seeking validation and answers from the outside world, you free yourself from emotional slavery. You become your own closure. And with that freedom, you create a life that is grounded, self-sufficient, and truly yours. Masculinity isn't about desperation for attention. It's not about rushing through life or constantly seeking validation. True masculinity is calm, confident, still. It doesn't chase, it leads. It disappears with purpose. Masculinity is about knowing your value and standing still in your power. A Stoic man is someone who doesn't need to chase after approval or affection. He is steady, purposeful, and in control of his own energy. In a world filled with noise, distractions, and constant pressure to perform, it's easy to get lost in the chase. We're often told to be more, to do more, to prove ourselves to the world. But a Stoic man understands, masculinity isn't about frantic movement. It's about stillness. It's about knowing your purpose, moving with intention, and standing firm in who you are. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This quote holds the essence of true masculinity. It's not about striving for external accolades or trying to meet others' expectations. It's about aligning with your own values, your own inner compass, and moving forward with confidence and purpose. Stillness doesn't mean inaction. It means control. A Stoic man doesn't rush. He moves deliberately, knowing his direction. The world may be chaotic around him, but within himself, he is calm. He doesn't seek to please others. He doesn't chase approval, recognition, or love. He understands those things can't be earned by force. They are the natural result of living in alignment with your true self. Masculinity isn't about urgency or desperation. It's about self-control. It's about being able to stand still in your power while everyone else is chasing. Stillness is power. When you don't rush, you conserve your energy. You stop wasting time chasing what's not meant for you or scrambling to impress people who don't value you. Instead, you let life come to you. You don't force anything. You trust your purpose and your values to guide your steps. Imagine walking through a crowded, chaotic street. The noise, the rush, the hustle of life, all demanding your attention. But you remain steady. You move through the chaos without being swept up in it. That is the essence of masculinity, knowing when to act and when to remain still. Understanding that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply wait. Wait for the right moment. Wait for the right opportunity. Wait until your actions align with your purpose. Stillness doesn't mean passivity. It doesn't mean sitting idly, waiting for life to happen. It means being rooted in your principles, unwavering in your commitment to yourself. When you're still, you're in control. You aren't tossed about by every wave of emotion, every fleeting desire, or every outside expectation. You become like the oak tree, deeply rooted, unshaken by the winds around you. Stillness also means knowing what to say no to. A Stoic man isn't distracted by every opportunity that comes his way. He knows what aligns with his values, and he chooses his path carefully. He doesn't waste time on what doesn't serve his purpose. Every action he takes is intentional, focused, and rooted in a deeper understanding of self. Through stillness, you gain clarity. You see life with more focus. You stop rushing for the sake of rushing. You stop chasing what drains you. You become more selective, more deliberate, more powerful. You know your worth, and that's what gives you the strength to stand still. Masculinity is about moving with purpose, not urgency. It's about finding your center and remaining unshaken by chaos. A Stoic man moves forward, not because he's desperate to prove something, but because he knows his worth and his direction. And when you move with purpose, when you live from that place of inner strength and stillness, the world will recognize your power. So, next time you feel the urge to chase, ask yourself, would the man I want to become beg for attention or build his own empire? Remember, true masculinity comes from within. It's about self-respect, purpose, and knowing your worth. If you want to dive deeper into these principles and learn how to embody unshakable masculinity, make sure to subscribe to Stoic HQ for more content. A comment below. What's one thing you've had to walk away from to protect your peace? We want to hear your stories. Until next time, stay grounded, stay stoic, and remember, masculine men don't chase. They disappear.